My name is Lisa Brome, and my topic is last in, first out as a method of retrenchment. HR Zone explains that last in, first out is a policy used in collective redundancies where employees with the fewest years of service are selected for redundancy. And the law teacher further explains that LIFO is usually an agreed procedure made between employer and the recognized trade union as part of a collective agreement. So having said that, my position is that I support last in, first out as a fair means of redundancy. Now, you may ask why I support last in, first out as a fair means of making employees redundant. Well, LIFO, as it is called, is the best no-fault way of selecting people because it's not based on any other criteria other than the length of time the person has spent with the organization. And just quickly, in a personal interview with a former trade unionist and now HR specialist, Julian Hunt, he explained that no fault simply means the person is being dismissed through no fault of their own. So it means that they didn't breach company rules, they didn't engage in any form of misconduct, and it wasn't a situation where they were not meeting their job standards. So LIFO is applied, as I said, where a person's length of time with the organization is looked at. It doesn't consider, like other assessment methods, performance, attendance, attitude toward the job, those types of things. As I said, though, there are other methods to assess a person's performance, and that's where the concern comes in, because there is some concern that once an individual is included in assessing a person's performance, then some level of bias or subjectivity may be involved. And in fact, a labor court in South Africa in 2016 ruled in favor of an employee who challenged retrenchment based on his performance ratings. A senior associate of employment law at a law firm in South Africa, Kirsten Caddy, she commented on the issue, and she said that performance ratings involve scoring by an individual, and therefore it is left to their discretion, so therefore it cannot be objective, and the court ruled in favor of the individual. Now, my second reason for LIFO is that the institution retains the people whom it has invested heavily in. So imagine you joined an organization several years ago. Over the years, you've shown competency and you've shown an interest in advancing the organization, and your bosses agree that employee development is important. So they invest hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars in training and courses so that you are always on the cutting edge of technology if that's required, and you always know the most efficient ways of running the business. Now, you're somebody that they've invested heavily in. Somebody else may come in after you and they haven't done that same level of investment. Once LIFO is applied, and it's applied in the strictest way, then the person who comes in last is the person who is out first, as opposed to other selection methods that may mean that you, as a person who has been trained and invested in heavily, stand the chance of losing your job. Now, my third reason for supporting LIFO is that it is quick, it is objective, and it is applied when a decision is needed in a short time. Here at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, where I work, we're actively going through a period of retrenchment. More than half of the workers have been earmarked to be retrenched, and it's being done through the last in, first out method. In a conversation with the president of the union division here at the CBC, Kent Jerson, he said that the union, on the union's part, they wanted to ensure the fairest method was applied when people were selected for retrenchment. He gave LIFO his support as well. He said, though, based on the time constraint, there was not enough time to use other methods of assessment. Appraisals, for instance, he said, would have taken months, in some cases weeks or months, to be completed, and there was not enough time for that. Some people will argue that LIFO could have a deleterious impact on an organization, in that it could leave the organization without its youngest and most energetic staff members. That's according to Taylor 2018. It also loses skills, the organization, because LIFO doesn't take skill sets into account. However, while that does have some merit, retrenchment, as I said, is used to cut expenditure. The employees mentioned with their technical knowledge, their qualifications, they will demand premium salaries. This makes them high income earners and a drain on the employer's budget. So therefore, if you're trying to cut spending, then those are areas that you may want to look at. Now, Courtesy and Harris Roper in 2014 argue that longer serving employees as well command higher severance packages. That's something an employer also has to look at when they are looking at redundancies and when they're trying to trim staff. So therefore, it is cheaper to let go of new employees. So in conclusion, I still believe that LIFO is a fair method of making workers redundant in a situation where other assessments like performance appraisals may be subjective.